For decades, Bill Gaither was one of the most respected and admired figures in gospel music. Known for his warm personality, deep faith, and countless hit songs, Gaither seemed untouchable. But at 88 years old, that image began to change. After years of staying quiet, he finally decided to speak openly about personal struggles, industry controversies, and long-rumored stories. For years, fans and critics wondered why he remained silent while whispers of financial issues, creative disputes, and even personal disagreements floated around. Now, Gaither's words are out in the open, and they paint a picture of a man who has faced triumphs and challenges in equal measure. The shift began in early 2024 when gospel music websites lit up with unsettling news. A secret recording, allegedly from a 2010 production, was leaked online. In it, Gaither expressed frustration with certain Christian musicians, accusing them of being careless with their faith and more focused on personal pride than serving God. The recording shocked fans because it showed a blunt, unfiltered side of Gaither the public had never seen. As the recording spread, speculation grew that he might have been referring to performers from his own famous Gaither Homecoming series. Some fans defended him, saying he was just speaking the truth. Others accused him of creating division. The controversy marked the start of a new chapter, one where Gaither's private thoughts and behind-the-scenes dealings were suddenly part of the public conversation. The fallout from the leaked audio was immediate. Social media and Christian forums were flooded with debates. Some praised Gaither for his honesty, saying it was refreshing to hear a leader in gospel music hold others accountable. Others, however, felt the comments were hurtful and divisive. Around the same time, longtime Homecoming singer Sandi Patty posted an online reflection about her early years in the industry. While she didn't name names, her words hinted at a culture in the Christian music world that had been prejudiced and unfair to her. Fans quickly connected her remarks to her sudden departure from the Homecoming series in 2003, sparking even more speculation about what really went on behind closed doors. The discussion caught the attention of major Christian publications like The Christian Post and Christianity Today, which began investigating Gaither's management style and the structure of his business. Then came another twist. A former high-ranking employee named Robert Clean was revealed to have been involved in a financial dispute with Gaither's company in the late 1990s. According to reports, the matter had been handled privately at the time, with little transparency. In 2025, Gaither gave a rare interview addressing some of these long-standing rumors. He admitted that during periods of rapid growth, some financial responsibilities had been poorly managed. However, he strongly denied any wrongdoing or misuse of funds. His honesty won over some fans, but others felt it was too little, too late. As the controversy spread, some of Gaither's closest collaborators stepped forward to show support. Gospel stars Michael English and Mark Lowry, both of whom had worked closely with him for years, took to social media to share their gratitude for Gaither's influence on their lives. They urged fans to look at the bigger picture. His decades of ministry, countless concerts, and uplifting songs that had touched millions. Still, the hashtag #FaGaitherTruth was trending online, with both supporters and critics digging deeper into the operations of the Gaither Music Company. Then, another piece of behind-the-scenes content surfaced, a leaked video from a 2024 internal planning meeting. In it, Gaither could be heard stating that he wanted to keep full creative and commercial control over the Homecoming series, from the music to the branding. While some saw this as a sign of strong leadership, others viewed it as proof of an authoritarian style that left little room for artistic freedom. Gaither chose not to respond immediately to the growing backlash. Instead, he released a short statement through his media team. In it, he reaffirmed his commitment to creating inspiring music and serving the church community. While the statement was polite and professional, some critics felt it failed to address the specific allegations that had been raised. Supporters, on the other hand, saw it as a dignified way of refusing to be drawn into public arguments. To understand how these controversies hit so hard, it's important to look at how the Gaither Music Company became a powerhouse in Christian entertainment. Founded in the late 1980s by Bill and his wife Gloria, the company started as a small production outfit designed to fund their music projects. Over time, it expanded into multiple areas: music production, live touring, television, online media, and merchandise. The popular Homecoming series became its crown jewel, drawing huge crowds and airing worldwide. Gaither Music Group handled distribution, while Gaither Management Group oversaw concerts, and Gaither Television Productions created the televised events. They partnered with platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, and SiriusXM, bringing gospel music to audiences far beyond the church. The business's success was largely due to Gaither's hands-on approach and a small, trusted circle of advisors making major decisions. This structure kept the brand consistent, but also sparked criticism. Some accused the company of limiting its artists' creative freedom in favor of maintaining a certain Gaither style. While this consistency helped the brand grow into a global name, it also made the company a target for those who felt gospel music was becoming too commercialized. By the time Bill and Gloria Gaither separated in 2025, they had written more than 700 songs together. Classics like "He Touched Me," "Because He Lives," and "The King Is Coming" are still sung in churches worldwide. These songs didn't just fill concert halls, they became part of worship services, funerals, weddings, and personal moments of faith. But as the music brought spiritual encouragement to millions, the business side of things was becoming more complex. Since the early 2000s, critics have accused Gaither music of over-commercialization. Ticket prices for homecoming events often ranged from $50,000 to $100,000, far higher than typical faith-based gatherings. Some Christian leaders argued that this shifted the focus from ministry to profit. Others defended the prices, saying the production quality, travel expenses, and talent lineup justified the cost. Alongside financial debates, there were also questions about why certain beloved artists left the homecoming stage without explanation. Names like Guy Penrod, David Phelps, and others left fans guessing whether creative disagreements or personal conflicts played a role. This mix of deep spiritual impact and growing corporate concerns created a complicated legacy for the Gaither brand. The Gaither Music Company has always been a family affair. Bill and Gloria's 3 children, Benji, Amy, and Suzanne, each played different roles in the family's creative and business ventures. Benji Gaither runs Live Bait Productions, the animation division that produces faith-based digital media for children. His work has allowed the Gaither brand to reach younger audiences with religious education content. Suzanne, the eldest, works in event planning and often helps organize Gaither Family Resources workshops in Indiana. She also assists with homecoming tour planning. Amy, the middle child, chose a different path. After college in the late 1980s, she pursued work outside the Christian music industry. In 1995, she publicly criticized how her family managed their business and creative decisions, saying the pressure to maintain a perfect public image caused strain. Her comments sparked a wave of media interest, but she later withdrew from public discussions and has had limited involvement with the company since. The family's public unity over the decades has been a big part of their brand, but privately, they have faced the same pressures and disagreements as any family working together in a high-profile business. The Gaither family's history also includes stories that many fans have never heard. In the late 1980s, religious journalists speculated that the homecoming series' rapid rise was putting enormous strain on the family. There were whispers of stress, burnout, and internal disagreements, though the Gaithers never confirmed these rumors. Then there's the case of James Gaither, a lesser-known relative connected to Bill through his father. An independent documentary released in early 2025 claimed that James had left the Christian faith in the 1970s, moved to the West Coast, and cut ties with the family before passing away in 1985. He was never mentioned in public family records. In a recent interview, Bill referred vaguely to a forgotten relative who had appeared uninvited at one point due to lifestyle differences, though he did not mention a name. Many believe he was referring to James. For religious families, disputes like these can be difficult to handle, and the Gaithers have largely kept such matters private. Even with these personal challenges, the family has stayed deeply involved in the business. As of 2020, Benji and Suzanne continued managing daily operations while Gloria served as a creative advisor. Despite the controversies, the Gaither Music Company has continued to expand. They have launched online music education programs, expanded Gaither TV Plus, and maintained a busy touring schedule. Their influence in Christian music remains unmatched, and their brand recognition extends far beyond gospel audiences. Yet, the recent controversies have forced fans to re-examine the balance between ministry and business. Gaither's decision to finally address some of these long-standing issues has been both praised and criticized. Some see it as an act of courage, while others question why it took so many years for him to speak openly. What remains undeniable is the impact he and his family have had on gospel music. Whether leading a packed concert hall, producing a children's animation, or writing a song that becomes part of church tradition, Bill Gaither has shaped the spiritual lives of millions. The question now is how his legacy will be remembered, by the controversies or by the music that has touched so many hearts. Just when the conversations about Bill Gaither's leadership and business dealings were at their peak, tragedy struck. On July 26th, a devastating plane crash claimed the lives of several members of the Nellons and Clark family, beloved figures in the gospel community. Jason Clark and Amber Nellon Kissler, known for their uplifting performances and close ties to the Gaither homecoming family, were among the victims. The accident happened just days before the annual Gaither Homecoming Alaska cruise, a highly anticipated event hosted by the Gaither Music Company. For fans, the loss was heartbreaking. These were not just performers on a stage. They were part of a musical family that had brought joy and encouragement to countless people. The timing of the tragedy cast a heavy shadow over the cruise and the entire Gaither community. In the days that followed, tributes poured in from across the country. Churches held memorial services, and fans shared personal stories of how the music of Jason, Amber, and their families had impacted their lives. Bill Gaither himself issued a heartfelt statement, expressing deep sorrow and offering prayers for the families of those lost. The tragedy reminded everyone, supporters and critics alike, that behind the business and controversies, there were real people, relationships, and shared moments of faith. The story of Bill Gaither is not just about music, it's about navigating the difficult balance between faith, family, and the demands of running a large-scale entertainment business. For decades, the Gaither brand has stood for uplifting, Christ-centered music. But as the company grew, it faced the same challenges as any successful enterprise: financial pressures, creative disagreements, and public scrutiny. In some ways, Gaither's recent openness about these issues has humanized him. Instead of the flawless, untouchable figure many had imagined, fans now see a man who has made mistakes, faced criticism, and worked through family struggles. For some, this makes his testimony even more powerful. For others, it has raised uncomfortable questions about whether the commercialization of Christian music has gone too far. Still, Gaither's willingness to speak about difficult topics, whether it's mishandled finances, leadership style, or family tensions, shows a side of the gospel music industry that is rarely discussed publicly. It also sparks a larger conversation within the Christian community about how to maintain spiritual integrity while operating in a competitive, profit-driven world, whether fans agree or disagree with him. There's no denying that Gaither has once again become the center of attention in a genre he helped shape. As of today, the full impact of Bill Gaither's decision to speak out is still unfolding. The Gaither Music Company continues to produce concerts, TV programs, and albums, and their tours still draw large crowds. The controversies may have created divisions, but they have also led to renewed interest in his life's work. Younger audiences, many of whom know Gaither only from streaming platforms or YouTube, are now exploring his earlier music and learning about the decades-long journey that brought him here. Longtime fans remain loyal, attending events and supporting the brand despite disagreements over past decisions. Industry experts believe that Gaither's legacy will ultimately be defined by a combination of his musical contributions and his ability to adapt to changing times. While some view the recent revelations as damaging, others believe they add depth to his story, showing that even icons face struggles behind the scenes. And perhaps that's what keeps people watching, listening, and talking about Bill Gaither. His story feels both extraordinary and human. In the end, his journey reminds us that faith is not about perfection, but about perseverance, honesty, and the courage to keep going, even when the spotlight reveals the cracks.